and go and study acting, but have some sort of a backup to fall back on. My father was of the opposite opinion. He's like, you don't need to study, just go act, do whatever you want and all. He's full opposite. But what happened is I got called in to meet Karan for Student of the Year. While I was still in college, I was like in the 11th grade, and I literally went from college, which was in my school, so I had a uniform. I went in my uniform to his office, and I was much, I would say, healthier. I enjoyed eating French fries much more at that time. And I was like, I look great. There's nothing wrong, So I just walked into his office.
I'm sure you did look great.
No, I truly believe I do, and I did. I walked into his office, and he said, "Okay, you're so charming in person. I'd like you to do an audition." So I didn't even know what audition was. I did like one audition just for like love before that for some ads. I didn't know what it was. I went in, I gave the audition, and then the rest is history.
Do you remember what he asked you to audition? Or?
Yeah, it was a scene from Wake Up Sid. Yeah, weird. Yes, it was really weird. That's another story altogether. But actually, now I'll go back to this story. Do you all know that the first time that I met my now husband was when I was 9 years old? And actually, the one time my mother was okay for me to be a child actor was when I was 9, because of Sanjay Leela Bansali, because he was making a movie, and I walked into his office, and who was assisting Sanjay Leela Bansali at that time? Ranveer. Obviously, that time he was not an actor, so I didn't even know. I was not even looking at him. I was just looking at Sanjay Leela Bansali because I was like, this is the director. I'm looking at him. I was at 9 years old. I still had that, thing. But there's a photo of us from that audition that I did for that movie that we were going to do at that time, which I still have with me.
When you were on set, did you immediately fall in love with the profession? Did you think, this is it, this is the rest of my life?
Absolutely. I remember the first day of shoot was when we were shooting for Radha, and I had to walk down some stairs and take one dupatta off and look into camera like that, and Farah Khan was the choreographer, and I did the shot, and she said, "Oh, heroine!" That was and I thought, matlab, this, like, the cameras just keep rolling. I thought there were like 15 cameras rolling at the same time, and because I was rehearsing the song for 1 month, I just thought I would to perform the song like I would perform on a stage, and they'd keep shooting. I didn't know that we had to wait and do shot by shot, and then they were sitting. So we were sitting for 7 days shooting that song. I had no idea. In the middle of the song, I sprained my leg, I hurt my back, everything happened. But I think in that first schedule onwards itself, it was daunting, it was very scary. Also, because on day one of shoot, Karan made sure that there was, from, Yash Chopra to Shah Rukh Khan to, Rishi Kapoor to everybody, they were all there on set to congratulate us and wish us, because we were 3 newcomers. So as nervous as we were, I think the fact that there were so many stalwarts in the room made us even more nervous. But yeah, I think from that moment on, I realized that I am my most present self in front of the camera.
Did the fact that you were 3 newcomers help you? Was that a camaraderie between you?
Yeah, most definitely. And we were all so different from each other. I was more quiet. I think even Sid was possibly quieter than I was. Varun and Sid had worked with Karan on My Name is Khan, so they had that experience. They knew the set, they knew how he directed. I didn't know any of that. Varun is more of the studious, like homework types, extra talking, extra energy, and like constantly would give me advice behind the thing. So it was just like we were all figuring it out at the same time. And it was, I think you'll never forget your first film, because this was the first time, I think for anybody, your first job, your first whatever, it always is extremely special, and you'll never forget those. It becomes like a part of your core memory.
contrast that to something like a role like Highway, which is such emotional depth. It's completely different. How do you go about preparing? Because I imagine in the first role you were just, hey, I'm here.
I don't know what I was doing in my first role. I was only dancing. I was only focusing on my songs. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I was like, most of the time, just having a pinch me moments. I think with Highway, the character actually, and I went hand in hand because the characters was of this, girl living in a very protected background in a home in Delhi, and then obviously she gets abducted, and she goes on this journey. Now the only difference was I was not abducted, I went by choice. But I went from a very protected family sort of household, and I went on this journey on my own on the sets of Highway. Of course, it's very different when you are, surrounded by a crew and you have that comfort and stuff. But I think the beats that played out in Highway was very much in real time in terms of emotion, and a lot of the times Imtiaz would just feed off me and write a scene, and then we were like driving to a location and you'll be like, okay, like there's a hill there that looks very nice, let's go up and start making lines and just talk to the clouds and just say something. So it was very spontaneous, it was very in the moment. So it was one of, I would say, the moments that I would say was life-changing. There are few life-changing experiences that happen in your life. Highway was definitely that. I think it really brought me out of my comfort zone for the first time.
And it's very unusual. It was shot chronologically, right? In order.
Yeah, most of it was shot chronologically. So when we ended up in the mountains, and I remember coming back after the schedule and telling my father that I want to move to the mountains. And he was like, you're just in character. Just take a couple of months and then see if you want to, we'll move to the mountains.
We often talk about Indian stars who have to know how to dance, sing, perform, change their emotion, but also, increasingly so, you have to know how to perform in many different languages. Is that something you like to do? Is there a language you found or a role particularly hard to get a grasp of?
I think I don't know whether it's just like something some people have it or some people don't have it, but I used to always like to imitate